Welcome back to We Are Human. I'm Susan Leonardson and Andrea is here, and we have another awesome guest for you coming to us from a world where actually it brought us together, the ClickFunnels world. And Andrea, why don't you go ahead and introduce who we have?
Yeah, I am Chris Cameron is our guest today, and he actually has a special little place in my heart. But let me give you the title and then I'll tell you this special place. So, Chris Cameron is the VP of coaching programs. I would say he's the right hand man to Russell Brunson, who's responsible for the primary coaching programs of 2CC and Prime Mover. But the special place in my heart from Chris is that when I was invited to be a guest at Funnel Hacking Live to speak, it was very intimidating and very nerve wracking. And Chris, just in his very beautiful human way, just had a very grounding presence for me that entire time. And I don't know, Chris, if I've ever fully thanked you for that, but you hold a special place in that journey for me. And I'm just so grateful that you're on this show today and looking forward to diving into what you got going on in the coaching world.
Well,
Andrea, thanks for saying that. That is one of my favorite things to do. You know, we wear a lot of hats at Prime Mover and at ClickFunnels, and we all do. I mean, Susan knows this too. Gosh, being in HQ a number of times over the years, a lot of times, everybody wears 10 different hats. And one of my favorite things to do is I've been speaker concierge at Funnel Hacking Live for years and years. So I'm the guy who gets people mic'd up. I'm the guy, if they're, higher profile or something like that, like I go meet them outside. Like I got stories about Marcus Lemonis. I got stories about Jocko that are just kind of crazy, and so, but it's fun. I love that too, because I get it. You're just stepping back there and you're like, I have no idea where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there. Like other than, excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Other than like, I know what time I'm speaking. Like all the other logistics are tough. So anyways, that's one of the funnest weeks of my life every single year.
Well, you
We're
made
going
me
to do
feel
it
like
again coming up.
and you're amazing. I know, and it's coming again.
Awesome.
Yay! It's exciting.
That's been a ride. That's been a ride too, because like all good marketers, the only reason that you retire an offer, shut down an offer is to do what? It's to open it up again. But I truly don't believe that was the intention for Todd and Russell at all. Like 100%, they left their shoes, like the wrestlers do when they retire. They left their shoes on the stage.
Yeah.
And it was it. Like I had conversations with Russell about this. Like that was it. But he was also very clear about, I need space to figure out what the next iteration is. And what's wild is, and I don't want to jump into this maybe too soon, or maybe we do, I don't know, how fast AI is moving, like even month to month or week to week right now. They looked at this and said, oh my gosh, we have to dive into this right now, because people are either going to be out of jobs or they're not going to find the right opportunities if they're experts or whatever. Like we have to lean into this AI thing and fast. And yeah, everybody's doing their own little AI, webinars or whatever right now. But we're going to dive in together in September in Vegas again. And this one's really cool because it's a theater. It is a theater where there's like assigned seats. And I have to give props to Miles too. I'll give you guys a little behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Funnel Hacking Live is not usually profitable on the front end. Usually there's going to be an offer that happens. However, Miles is so good at this and done it so many times. You guys know and love Miles. He figured out a way to make this profitable. One of the most genius things that he's doing is these VIP seats. And our high profile people, Myron Golden, like all these other people, are spending tens of thousands of dollars to get these luxury couches. But it's just like an airplane. Where does each flight after everything? It makes money on first class.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. And then these people are turning those into offers. Like Myron, I guarantee, I don't even know what his offer is, but I guarantee he's saying, hey, sit with me up front at Funnel Hacking Live, and I'll add this, and this, and you can come sit with me. And he's probably going to charge 20 grand for that. So he's going to make money on that seat. Like,
That's so crazy.
anyways,
You know what it is?
it's so cool.
It's like the first version of what Russell wants events to be like at the Atlas Center, right? At the where it's like people will be able to just like sell seats that they have ownership over, so it's like
Totally.
It's almost like a test flight of that.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I didn't even think about it that way. I just thought of it like as a genius way to do it. About the Atlas Center, though. Oh my gosh, we could dive into so many things, guys.
We might need like multiple episodes or like 3 hours.
Yeah, how long are we running here? Okay, so anyways,
go ahead.
it's been fun the last few weeks, and you may have seen this. Like bulldozers, like earth movers, are actually behind HQ pushing this dirt and doing it. Here's what happened. Like, everybody's like, why is this taking so long? We had the golden shovels. I don't know if either of you came to that.
We were there. We were
Yeah.
there.
Okay. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we all had those, and we were like, we're digging in there. And then we're like, a year goes by, another year. We're like, ugh. And he just ran into, I'll tell you what they were. He had like some permitting stuff with the city. This was all the city. And then the biggest thing was, there wasn't, for the size of building that he was going to do, there wasn't like enough parking spaces. I don't know all the logistics like Bill Allen would be able to tell you, but I think they had to buy a little more dirt so they could allocate enough parking spots for it or something. Anyways, they finally figured it all out. It's moving. And you're right, Susan, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing tons of events there. You know, Russell explained it, like when I don't even know what the stadium's called in LA, but for the Rams, is people would buy those seats up front and they have first right of refusal, right? Yeah. And these guys can resell them. I don't know all the logistics of how Russell will do it, but it's so exciting because like that is coming to fruition. Like, it's getting built. So foundation, I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's happening.
But it's happening. Ground has officially been broken.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be really, really fun.
That's exciting. We're looking forward to being a part of that. So that's really exciting.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. So Chris, the thing I really want to dive into that has been, man, even in the past week, just super heavy in our company. And that is, we work with experts who normally have some kind of information-based business, right? And right now, I think the growing sentiment in the market is that like information products are dead because of AI and having to rethink that whole model. And so I want to just like blow the door off right now. And I would love just like what you're seeing, your perspective, and dive into that more. And what that means for us humans.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start by highlighting this problem and scrubbing on it a second here. I think there's some, I guess, I don't know, people are seeing this maybe in the wrong way. Because here's what's happening. Everybody, people are selling coaching or courses or whatever it is, a lot of times for, 10, 20 plus $1,000. And somebody has maybe the misconception that all the information they need, even from these course creators or coaches, we'll use Russell Brunson as an example. Can somebody go on right now into Claude and say, I need you to build me the perfect webinar? Okay, for example. Mm-hmm. Can it do it? Maybe, right? But is it going to do it the right way? Russell always teaches one thing about this too. He teaches, there's voice, context, and output that needs to go into this AI. And that means there's a lot of transcriptions from webinars that he's done. There's nuances that Russell does that he doesn't even realize. And I think he realizes most of them, don't get me wrong. But sometimes he goes and listens back to things and he's like, oh my gosh, I see what happened. Or if he goes and has AI analyze, he comes back and he's like, oh, here's this pattern you're doing. He's like, holy cow, I didn't realize I was doing that.
Yeah. The plight of the expert.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And I think this is where we can use AI. I'll give you an example. I was talking on our 2CCX meeting with somebody the other day. It was Travis Tolostrup. I don't know if you guys know Travis. He was talking about, he's here in Provo. He does real estate. They're not really syndications, but he basically helps people who maybe are 1099 or can't get a loan for a house. And so he does private lending, right? And so he gets these big pools of money and then he does this and he gets great returns. But what he's realized is that, hey, he knows how to do this. He's trying to build his team. And so he got into the VA world. And he's like, okay, like he used onlinejobs.ph, John Jonas, and a lot of people are using that, which is awesome. And he's like, okay, we've hired these people. And somebody on the call was like, well, hold on, why aren't you just using AI agents? And he goes, well, interesting that you say that. He's actually getting these VAs to get trained on AI. And now he's got a multiplier. Rather than just saying, okay, I don't have somebody with maybe discretion and everything else. Like, this goes a long way. Plus, I'll talk about how I think we might have a return to, I think it's funny, the name of your podcast. I think we're going to have a return to this, like, just human experience rather than just, all of us are talking to AI and we want to, just get stuff done. Yeah. So anyways, here's what he's doing. He's saying, all right, I'm going to my VAs, but I'm teaching them how to use this AI. I've got the multiplier now. And they are now using the AI to build out these SOPs. Russell teaches this 10-80-10. As you know, ever this 80-20 rule works all the time. But he's like, without the 10% on the front of you giving the right input and context and everything, telling AI what the output needs to be, let it do 80% of the work. And then you still got to clean up the last 10%. But I think people are misunderstanding and replacing information with experience. And so
Yes.
people are jumping in and saying, okay, I can get all this information, but without the experience, it's pretty hard to go out and do that. I'll give you another example. I've coached mountain biking for a lot of years,
Yeah.
and I go out with my kids and everything. I'm not doing it this year. I'm just busy, and my kids are like, I just want to ride for fun. But anyway, for the last number of years, we could sit in the parking lot and we could tell them everything that they need to do. And we say, okay, let's check your chain. Let's make sure you have water. Let's make sure you have tubes. Are you in shape? And that's another thing. Are they in shape for this? Like, that's
Mhm.
something we're not even thinking about. Like, can you actually go do everything AI is telling you to do? Maybe,
Yes.
maybe not. You might not have the cardio for it. Right.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
anyways, you jump on the bike. That now is where the real learning
Yes.
happens. And so I
Yes.
think this is a great shot in the arm, but I don't think that it replaces everything. The human element is real, but in the marketplace, it is affecting, I think, coaching programs. It's affecting, course creators, everybody else. But they just need to figure out now how to ride this wave of AI and figure out how to 10x their productivity, but still bring that human element because there's people like you and me who are still going to want. I'm a little bit like, I don't know if I wouldn't say I'm scared, but I'm cautiously optimistic of AI.
Mhm.
Not that it's gonna terminate or take over the world, maybe. I don't know. Listen, I'll get into any conspiracy theory with you. It's fine. But I don't know. Like I enjoy the human element of everything. I'm a people person. So for me, just to turn into a robot, and maybe we all need to be cyborgs. Maybe that's what it is, part robot, part human. But I
Hopefully
don't
not.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting question. It has affected it, but I think there will be a pendulum swing back. I think people will get so tired of it and like that's why, a lot of these events are selling out very fast and people are coming together because they want to literally rub shoulders.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have a saying on the show that we think that AI will actually help us be more human ultimately, not less. Because
Mm,
exactly what you're articulating, Chris. Like, and I think too, I think you're onto something. If we go back to your bike example, right, and teaching people to do bikes, I think there's 3 kinds of learning, right? And I think we don't distinguish them. It's like the first kind of learning is just information, right? Like I want to get something done. So I need just enough information to get something done. I don't actually care about learning it. I just want to get something done, right? And I think that's where AI is great. I think there's the second one, which is more of like a hobbyist, right? Like, oh, I'm bored today and I want to like go down this rabbit hole and explore and like tickle my fancy, you know what I mean? And like,
yeah, yeah.
that's great. Yeah. And then there's this third one where it's like, no, I actually want to build a skill for transformation. And like the fundamental principles of how we build a skill as a human, right? They have never changed. They aren't changing. Like it is
Mhm.
about exactly what you're articulating, like getting on the bike. And then you have a willing facilitator who has a degree of discernment that's not just, let me do an assessment of what you currently know, but there's also this like socio-emotional aspect of like you said, are you even in shape to do that? And if not, then maybe I need to even sensitively or not sensitively get you back into that program. Like there's a level of discernment that only I think a human right now can really do in that feedback loop of learning. And
Yeah.
and like how we educate people in that or how we like what we do in that, I was like, oh man, it keeps me up at night because I think people are getting so enamored with the AI part and they're forgetting like the fundamental principles of transformation that require human
Oh,
intervention right now.
that's true. I mean, I'll speak to that for a second. Like, I do think a lot of times people, if it's tasks, I'll give you a task that's a total like menial pain in the neck for us right now in the coaching program. I'll tell you what's happening. We got a number of coaching programs, right? We got 2CCX, we got Prime Mover Foundations, and each one has a ton of modules that can be facilitated live or they can go through and do it at their own pace, right? So they
Mhm.
can go self-guided. But it creates a very complicated schedule. Like if you were to log in right now into our coaching program, it is the biggest stinking buffet that might be overwhelming. And people are like, okay, crud, well, what day do I get onto this one? And we make it as simple as we can. But I'll tell you where the complication is. is each month when we have to go make it now, not only make it, like we could make a recurring schedule, that's fine, but that doesn't work in Russell Brunson's world, because he pivots and he iterates and he moves and he says, okay, we're going to run this challenge this week and we're doing this. And sometimes my team's fulfillment is based on when he's going to do that. I'll give you an example. Selling online comes in and we're like, okay, you're going to be on module 1 on Monday. Guess what that means? I have to have a module 1 ready that Monday. That means I have to have a facilitator or 2 ready to run 4 or 5 hour session. And now, whether they're out of town or anything like that. So here's my point. We're creating and we're using for a task. We're trying to get, and Jackie on our team, she has built this thing that's amazing where it does it, but we're kind of like reviewing that now and like making it a little bit better too, so we can pivot a little bit faster and make things a little bit easier. But that type of thing is great for AI. That's a task. It's a skill. It can go do this thing monthly. But it's funny. I was just getting a message from Chris Zabish on my team, and he's like, okay, we're working on this, and it ran into a problem. And, he was trying to do some scheduled posts for school, and it was running into the same problem. And he's like, hey, AI, guess what? You did it Monday. What's different today? And it's like, well, I used a different thing. He's like, how about you go back and use the thing that you did Monday? And then it messed up something else, right? So we still have to babysit this, and it's going to get better and better and better. So those types of things, systems, processes, those type of things. Now, when we get into real skills, I think what you're talking about too, Andrea, is maybe different. So I think we separate those two, right? We can say, all right, what are things that are pain in the neck that I just don't want to do that a robot can do? I'm going to get that robot to do it. And we scale productivity like mad.
Yes.
But there is such a refining process. Listen, I'm very spiritual, and I believe the entire reason that we're having this earthly experience is to make mistakes, figure out how to correct those mistakes, and not make those mistakes again and improve, right? Tom Bilyeu, when he was at Funnel Hacking Live, whatever year it was, this is way before. I want to say this is maybe like 21, maybe, or what maybe it was 22. Anyways, it may have even been Nashville. Okay. Anyways, it's years ago. He starts talking about AI when AI wasn't the buzz. It was like, IBM maybe had the one that they were calling AI, but it really wasn't doing much. I can't
Deep
remember the name
Ocean.
of it.
Deep Loop.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that was what it was. But he talked about Super Mario Brothers and how AI would jump on and it would say, okay, here's what we're going to do. It would beat the best Super Mario players in the world within like 10 minutes. And here's how it would do it. It's very simple. It's trial and error and iteration. It would go and it'd say, okay, I'm going to jump over this thing. I'm going to get this mushroom. I'm going to jump over the pipe. Oh, crud, I jumped too soon. And AI never made the same mistake twice. And it could just go and iterate so quickly that it started beating everything. So in our own human experience, if we don't have those failures, or we don't know what to expect, go back to mountain biking or skiing or golfing or anything, there's a feel. Like at some point, the master pianist is like, well, how did you sit out and play that? He's like, I actually have no idea. It's experience and it's trial and it's error. Tell you a quick story. I'm a story person. My son, this is years ago. We had these like bacon strips for the dog. It's called like, I don't know what they were like, but it's made out of mush. I don't know what it's made out of, garbage. Anyways, and he's like, I said, hey, get the dog a treat. And Grant grabs it and he's like, Dad, this smells really, really good. And he's like, I was like, okay, let's see how this plays out. And he goes, I think I want to taste it. And I'm like, let's see how this goes. Sure enough, he tastes it because it smelled like bacon.
Right.
And then what happens? He immediately goes, this was a bad idea. I'm like, perfect. As your dad, I can tell you over and over, son, that's not a good idea. You're not going to like how that tastes. You probably should not do that.
Right.
But when he goes and does it, and I'm back here as a safety net, doesn't matter. Like most things we can let our kids, helicopter parents, like, listen, most things you can let them experience and they'll be okay. If they're riding their bike and they have pads on everywhere, listen, they're not going much more than 7 miles an hour. They're probably not going to die, whatever.
Right.
But a skinned knee, they're going to learn from, and those type of things. I'm not reckless. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for
No, but it's the feedback loop. It's the learning. It's we learn
100%.
through resistance, right? And we learn through the pushing through of that resistance. Like, it's such a fundamental thing. And I think that, again, if we go to AI has no level of discernment to give you resistance, or to
Correct.
give you feedback or to help you through that resistance or to like push you into resistance, right? Where like I can firsthand attest, and I think Susan would agree with me, like every single major step that we made in our business is because some coach was on the other end of the Zoom call basically saying, do it. And I want you to report back to me by Monday. And we say like, and us saying like, no, but, and they're just like, pew, pew, pew on all of those, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you're doing it. So do it, and every single time that our business has made major steps was because of that kind of interaction. AI will never be able to do that, right? Hold space for this really uncomfortableness and still push anyway.
Well,
It's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's real.
and it doesn't have the experience. Like, speaking of experience, it's like it can regurgitate what it's curating from the internet and other people's experiences, and it's like, based on these people, this is the advice I'm going to give you, but it doesn't actually have its own lived experience in that thing. Whereas like our mentors and our coaches and our facilitators, they have that actual experience. They've walked the walk, they've learned from the mistakes, they knew how it felt when the mistakes were being, when they were happening, and what it felt like to overcome them. And AI doesn't have any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I think of the old adage or whatever of money amplifies. It amplifies who you are for good or for bad. And money doesn't care if you're good or you're bad, right? It's just going to accelerate and it's going to amplify. Money does not ask the question, should this person have money? Because they
Mm,
can do a lot of crappy things with that money. Um, and I think the same thing goes here. Like AI doesn't care if you're good or bad, as no conscience or anything else. Uh, it's going to create some interesting things. It's just like I talked about with cardio. That's why I bring that up is like, should you be at the top of this mountain? Like, are you capable of even coming down this crazy terrain if you can't even get up this
mhm.
crazy terrain? Right? Is maybe you're just not capable. Like, do you want to be dropped off in a barren wasteland, in the Arctic or something without a coat and without the preparation and everything you need? We're going to see some of this start happening because people can do anything they want. But should they? I don't know. I think that might be a moral question to ask. I don't know.
Yeah. I love that distinction, the similarity between AI and money. It's so true. It's AI is definitely an amplifier, but it does not care. It
Yeah.
has no care for you whatsoever.
Yeah.
Even though it feigns caring, which is the interesting thing. Yeah.
Oh, that is actually kind of a scary thing. I know of people who have, you've seen movies that where
She.
somebody what's that? Yeah. What was
Yeah.
it?
She? Is that the like with the
Is that
she
the
where
is that the Joaquin Phoenix one or
yes, yes.
okay. Yeah, so this is exactly it where there's these relationships or whatever, right? I literally know people who they are like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Should I or shouldn't I?" And they're having all these questions with AI. That's dangerous. It's just learning how to make you happy and give
Yes.
you the answers that you want. But the funniest thing, we're going skiing a few weeks back, and we stopped to get gas, right, and get, like, some drinks. And my son was talking into the ChatGPT thing, like, where you can hit the button and then it dings and you just have this conversation. The funniest part about all of those is, I don't know if I'm sure you've noticed, they have to have the last word. Like it's impossible for them not to have the last word. Okay, well, thanks. I'm here for you if you need anything. And then you say, okay, cool. Thanks again. You got it. I'm here for you if you need anything. Okay, good chat. And so we literally put my chat GPT and then we put Grant's chat GPT and it went on, and we wanted to see how long it would go. And they outlasted us. We're like, I can't stand this anymore. I don't even know how long it was, but it's like we think that it's ready to go, but it still has a long way to go,
Mhm. Yes,
especially
yes.
for the human aspect.
Mhm.
Like we
Yes.
cannot replace humanity with this, or we're all going to be crazy, unhappy, and have anxiety. I mean, everybody's doom scrolling, and it's proven. You just have more anxiety. When I get caught up in it, all of a sudden my chest tightens and I think that something's important that isn't important, or so I get triggered or something like that. And it's just, I don't know. We don't need more of
Yeah.
that. We need
So
more open streams and high mountains and human
and
interaction.
human interact. Yeah,
Amen.
exactly.
Amen to that. Yeah. It was interesting that, the Diary of CEO was doing an interview with she was an AI journalist that kind of cracked a lot of the early, like when Elon was first like saying a bunch of stuff about AI and was a partial ownership of OpenAI, and then he got like ousted, or
Mhm.
like all of that. Like she was the journalist that was like covering all of this craziness early days of AI. And he was interviewing her, and he he said, uh, basically that the people who he's trying to push his business in the AI world, and like he's like, the two people right now that are seem irreplaceable, right? Even with AI, as much as he's pushing, is CFO, but he's like, eventually, I think that will be replaced, and then in real live event coordinators. So like the people who
Mm.
in real life events, he's like, they are the only ones that like won't be replaced. Yeah, and so and he just talked all about the business model is all about these in real life events, in the future.
That's crazy to think about because you've seen it. You watch Miles
Yeah,
or you watch Barry and Blue, right? With Sage, who we've used for years and years. You want to talk about cool under pressure. The best event organizer, especially when you're talking something that's at the scale of like Funnel Hacking Live,
yeah, yeah,
you are getting thrown 18 different things at once. And you have to just pivot and keep in mind if something goes wrong, Miles knows Russell's going to look at him, but he just makes good decisions and he never freaks out. He just handles business. It's so fun to watch. And I tend to get a little bit freaked out. I don't know that people see that, but I'm just like, where he's getting notifications all the time. Somebody's in his little earbud, plus he's getting voxed and he's getting texts, and somebody's like, come here all at the same time. And he just handles it. It's so cool. But that is interesting because all the variables of those type of things
yeah,
and moving things around, that one is gonna be a tough one to replace.
yeah. And it's always the them having the ability to stay cool under pressure and handle all this. It's just is through the lens of how can I make the experience good, and intact for the people who are experiencing.
100%.
And that is so innately human.
Oh my
So
gosh, and even more than that would be, you know, he has one more to deal with, like, how do we most events that we do, there's going to be an offer component.
yeah,
And how we judge this is one feedback from people because it is a fulfillment event as well. So you're
sure.
getting both. What we do is we always teach and sell at the same time, which is unique. And the things that people are getting out. And then if they want to go deeper, right, then they take the offer and we go really, really deep. And that's, usually where I come in and I'm fulfillment on the back end of that stuff. But so he's thinking not about how to make that experience good, but he's like, okay, every part of this choreography, does it help convert the sale at the end? Or
Yeah,
not, because you can make a great experience still, but it might not be leading towards that sale. Um, and you just gotta be on and once again, he's got great cardio in that. He's done this a million times.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
knows what's good.
So, I don't know if you know this, Chris, but we have this phrase, and it will become our book soon.
Oh,
We
that's
call it
awesome.
second money economy, but in that it's second sales. And while you're just talking, I just realized like I'm gonna equate this back to something in a second. But FHL, the events, like the pitch during the event is like a second sale moment. You already made a first sale of getting
Totally.
into the event, and then there's a second sale moment. And in our line of work, we are creating second sales inside of programs, inside of coaching programs, inside, the things that
Totally.
you are very much involved in.
Yeah, value
And
ladder stuff.
there's an experience that is required for the
Totally.
human participating in that experience. And so the same way that you just talked about how Miles makes, he's very aware of like the experience, all the perceptions happening, it all leads to are they like if they're likely to take the offer or not, the second sale. And so
Totally.
whether it's in person or a digital experience, it's the same thing. And so when we're talking about the programs that you're involved in, I know that there's not there we also talk about second sale as like they keep paying you money, like they don't
Yeah,
leave the
ascension.
program. And so if
Yeah, retention and ascension, right?
exactly, exactly. So all of the experience that has to be created, and I think we're all agreeing and saying like the that has to have human input. You cannot replace that
Yeah.
with AI, at least not right now, if not ever,
Mm.
leads to that experience becoming that thing where they want to stay or they want to get into your next thing. Anyway, I had to
Yeah,
like
there's
equate those two. It was so cool. An epiphany I had.
that's so genius. Um, I'll take it a little bit different direction. So Richmond Din, who's in Inner Circle, I think he's Atlas now, but he was on one of our what we call our $1 million power hours. Basically, what we do in Two Comma Club X is we take people who've made over $1 million. They're in Inner Circle, so they're a level. For those of you who don't know, like Inner Circle and Atlas are like the highest level of coaching for Russell, and they're expensive. Where Two Comma Club X is 25, 30 grand, right? So the people in 2CCX, often what we do, at least once monthly, we have somebody from Inner Circle come down. They've made, well over $1 million. We call it the $1 million power hour. Richmond was on there and he was talking about tiny challenges. And what that is, just to give everybody an idea, was he gets on and he spends as much time as he needs to. And this is especially for people starting out, is they give a lot of attention and a lot of time to somebody, knowing that could equate to the sale, right? We can shortcut that maybe with webinars and so on, but if you don't have a big audience and you don't have many to do the one too many sale, then these tiny challenges work really, really well, because you're going to learn, if you don't know how to sell to your avatar, the time that you spend in this human connection that you get with them on a phone call is going to, or a Zoom meeting, especially if it's one-on-one, just ask them. It's hard. It's painful. I was listening to a call that, and I'll get back to Richmond in a second, that Darcy just did with Dan Kennedy yesterday. Is that can be painful if you're not a people person, but jumping in and having that conversation with people one-on-one, you will learn exactly what they want, what they don't want, etc. Okay, now back to Richmond. He said this, and I use it over, and I've expanded a little bit. He's like, people will usually give you their time before they give you their money. But once people give you enough time, they will give you some of their money. Once they give you some of their money, guess what they're going to do? They're going to give you more time. And this snowballs. When they give you more of their time, they're going to give you more of their money. When they give you more of their money, they're going to give you more of their time, and on and on and on. But it has to be that real time and connection, exactly like you said, Susan, to ascend them. Like we have that value ladder concept, right? They're going to give you more money for the more value that you get them. But there's a time component here. We always joke about this. Like it took me 3+ years to get my wife to marry me because I was stuck in the friend zone. Right? She had a boyfriend. I will say this. She had braces, and I was like, yeah, she's cute. But the second the braces came off, I was like, hey, what's up? I don't know. It was funny. We joke about that. And she's like, you're a punk. Anyways, she had a boyfriend and everything, and it took 3 years. I couldn't ask her to marry me on the first date. And the same thing applies to what you're saying, Susan. Is like, how do we create this to, one, keep them? Right now, I've been married 21 years, right? So I'm doing something right. We have to keep them, and then we ascend them, right, into our next thing: more money, more value, more time. Yeah, it's a fun loop. It's a fun loop, and it's actually quite simple for a formula.
Okay, I'm curious actually to go into that because we have had, my theory on how that works is that somebody, if they feel seen and they feel valued, right? And they feel like you genuinely care about them, they're in. They'll stay. And ClickFunnels, Prime Mover, both of the company, I mean, you're incredible at doing this. Um, I often feel that even despite the masses that you serve, it feels culturally there's a very intentional, like, I want to see an exact human. I wanna put a
Yeah,
human
sure.
face on it. We wanna talk about an individual. We wanna highlight
Mm.
an individual, and I think that it's something culturally you guys do. It's probably why Susan and I are, like, diehard loyal because of that. Like, that's one of the key characteristics. But I'm curious in this world of AI where you could potentially be able to even do that more at scale, or at least, like, serve up it, and then actually the execution of it is human. But I'm curious how you're thinking about leaning into that more, leveraging AI or not leveraging AI or yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'll give you a couple examples. One, this is maybe retro. It's going backwards. The smartest thing that we ever did with ClickFunnels, I think, was the Two Comma Club Award.
Oh, yeah.
The
Oh,
sh
yeah.
the sheer, if they can do it, I can do it mentality. I mean, think of what we do at Funnel Hacking Live. We parade people across the stage that are doctors or dentists or info products or e-com, or they're dog trainers. It doesn't matter. And then you go, hold on, I'm pretty sharp. I don't know about them, but if they can do it, I can do it. So genius. And then they get on stage and it just is more and more and more and more and more. But I will say this. Russell was so genius when he did the Prime Mover Foundations program, which is Fountainhead. What this is, it does all the one-to-many. Like, we have 6 modules. I've done this for years and years and years. And we were in Mexico and we were doing this big team picture at that pyramid thing at Xcaret. Were you guys both there?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're walking there. This is I don't know, 2 times ago. And he's like, I just talked to Garrett and he just totally said the craziest thing. He wants to do facilitated training. And he's doing this already with his team. And here's what it means and blah, 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 blah. Because here's the problem that Russell's had. Russell goes up and he makes these extremely amazing, sexy offers from stage. And then Monday comes. And Russell's on to the next offer. He's teed this thing up. And now he goes, before me, Vince or whatever is like, okay, go do it. And they'd have to scramble and figure out how to do this. But he's like, hey, here's what we're going to do. And I was running partnerships at the time. And he's like, I think we should do this facilitated stuff. I'll talk to you more about it. 6 months later or something, when you have this conversation, he's like, I want you to come run this and do the one-to-many stuff. Because I ran his speaking team and everything. And prior to that, I was doing just sales one-to-many like crazy when I was a broker and we're getting people to invest money. So what we did then is, and got to give credit to Garrett on this, is now it's a hybrid, right? And this is where I think could get tricky. Like, a lot of people think AI could fulfill on this, but I think it's really tricky with everything that you just said. Facilitated training would be something like this, where Russell records the core modules, 15 to 20 minutes at a time, but we lace these things together and then we have a facilitator. And I've got a team of facilitators that do this. Matter of fact, they're in a module 5 right now. I jumped out of that to jump on the podcast. And they go and they say, welcome out. Hey, and they say, I see Susan's here. I see Andrea's here. I see everybody. Where are you from? Blah, 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 blah. And we get to know these people really, really well because we do Q&As and stuff too, because there's such a human component to it. But then what do? How do we eliminate Russell from this? Is he's already pre-recorded this. And we go in and we say, hey, you're now going to learn about X, Y, and Z from Russell. Take it away, Russell. And then we hit play. We don't tell them it's a video or anything else. They know it's a video. But then they watch that. And then when they come back, it's like, all right, Russell just taught you this. Let's go to the workbook. You're going to have some time to work on this. Now let's do breakouts. And we're getting things done, but it's not AI. It is hybrid, though. And I think we could maybe expand on that a little bit more as far as AI. But when people have paid you $10, $15, $25, or $50,000, and it's just would be an AI deliverable, I think we've got to be really careful about that, because you mentioned something is, how do they feel and are they seen? That's one component. And I think what we don't know is, will this person stay or buy based on how they feel and if they're seen? Or that's one category. Or there's another category that's like, not emotional about it. I really don't care how you do it. Just get me the result, right?
Yeah.
If I want to pay for a hole in the wall, I don't care about the tools to do it. But I love this fact that we have these things available. We have some people who just go, all right, now I can go to self-guided. I don't have to talk to anybody if I don't want to. And boom, 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 I learn these principles and I'm done. Then the other people come and they're with me and my team, right? And Chris Zabish and Aldo, right? And the others. So they jump into these things and they feel that and they see it. I think that's really, really huge. So facilitation is something that we're doing. I don't know what that looks like, though, for coaching moving forward. Somebody's going to iterate and give something. Maybe there's just a really, really good AI that feels crazy human, that knows all these things. Like, what we're working on in the back end is a tool that's going to have the input of all 6 of our modules. It's going to have the secrets trilogy.com experts and traffic secrets as input into this brain. And then people will be able to literally ask a question and it will go and show you, maybe not answer that question for you, but go show you exactly where Russell answers that question. Right. And so we're working on that stuff in the back end. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know where that goes yet, but we keep changing and iterating week to week, month to month.
Yeah.
Think about because those type of models, because we're seeing them a lot, the AI agents that are programmed with the repertoire of the expert's knowledge and then package that up as a package. We oftentimes question or are curious about that might require, again, those 3 types of learning, right? It's like that might require a certain degree of I know about your world, and so I even know what to ask. It
Right.
might require, some degree of, like, again, the bot or the agent to know what's appropriate for this person, instead of just
Mm.
info dumping all over them. So I'm
I
curious.
don't even know how it gets to that other than it'll learn
Yeah.
over time what your capacity is maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been thinking about it like, onboarding, like doing even just like a baseline assessment, which then would like put the bumper cars on the learning experience based off of
Oh,
where that
good
learner
point.
is. Yeah.
Well, Russell just said that to us the other week. He's like, "Listen," he's like, the future for us is not necessarily this wide open just AI." He says it's going to be the bumpers and the constraints even
Yes.
that we put
Yes.
on this to where we
Yes.
say, "Okay, I'm gonna sell you a specific path." It's like the grocery store. Like, if you want ketchup and you
The
walk in the front
funnel.
door.
It's a funnel.
Yeah, that's exactly right, it is. Yeah, and we're gonna give you this aisle, that's the condiments aisle or whatever, right? Is because if not, people are going to get lost in this, and I think that's it. Even yesterday on our thing, here's what's driving me crazy, guys, is yeah, you just pay attention. Everybody listening, you pay attention. Next call you're on with your team or you bring on a guest or something like this, there's the smart person in the room who's going to vomit every tool that they're using and every tool and every instance in which they use that tool. And for me, I'm like, you just gave me 18 tools. I'm not doing that many plugins. And I'm not
Right.
going to use it for all this. You have to go use this. It's like that's your process. Here's what I would say to everybody is slowly like engage yourself in these different things and find out what works for you, and
Yeah.
then you're going to have a way to do this. Like in this AI challenge, we're going to be selling something that is going to be, Russell Brunson stuff. And in this AI, it's going to be helping you do those things. But is it going to help you make, the best casserole in the history of the internet? No,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Very
We Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think the craziest part in all of this when we talk about putting in the bumper cars is that the humans who teach the things, right? Like when we work with people, it's like we oftentimes ask this question of like, okay, where are the emotional highs and lows in the journey? Every
Mm,
expert knows it. And so then it's like if you could help the AI be attentive to those things of when those early indications of emotional lows and highs are happening. And here's the crazy thing, Chris, too, that we've seen is like at those emotional high and low moments, it's actually also the opportunity for upsells. 'Cause it's like, it's where they
yeah.
need the most support. But it's
Yeah.
like, how do we get AI to be more sensitive to those nuances, you know what I mean, in the
Yeah.
interaction so that
Well,
those bumper cars are
Epiphany
just
story
yeah,
is wild in this, right? Is like helping people feel the emotion, and it's you're like me or I'm like you. Um, but in the Heroes 2 journey, Chris Vogler and Michael Haig,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
probably like is have you guys heard this one? It's like a 3-hour audiobook. And you can listen to it on one flight, but it's killer. The idea is there's two things that happen is there's an achievement and a transformation. If we just go and we win immediately, I'll give you an example. Tom Brady, he is everybody's favorite football player to hate
yeah.
because he's the GOAT. And when you become the GOAT, like, it's really hard. Like, a lot of people are just like, "Oh, I'm tired of this person," or they won too fast, or, sometimes these overnight success stories, you don't know where they came from. But you watch any movie and exactly what you're saying, Andrew, these highs and these lows that are happening, these emotional human swings, and we make a lot of buying decisions based on emotion. And if that emotion is taken out of that and that human element, we're gonna miss half of our audience, I would say at least.
Mhm.
yeah,
So this is really, really big. And I think a lot of that input that you're gonna give and context into AI, I think it can do some of that, but the deliverability of when somebody's up there and they're telling a story and then
yeah,
they slow down or they
yeah,
get extremely quiet and people have to listen and lean in because it's intentional, right? Or those different things that you can do that are so human that
yes.
move this buying decision and everything else. I mean, this NLP stuff we could go into big time, which is super, super fun, especially selling from stage. But I don't know how AI is going to do that. Maybe it does. Maybe it's going to get super smart and figure all that out.
I don't think it will. I think it's still a human. So here's an idea. Like, what if it's just the AI could detect the probability of those moments, and in those moments, then serve up like a video of Russell addressing that. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like meeting the emotion that it's like if AI could even just get a pattern of possibility that this is happening, right? And then it's served up. Maybe that's the bridge, and that even though it's an
Probably.
asynchronous conversation, but something, yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
I don't know if Russell's gonna listen to this, he does, but I don't mean any shade at this, but did you guys just see his 1941 AI, movie or well, I don't know
No,
if that's right.
oh my gosh, we're
Anyways,
normally
no,
so up on
what
Russell's
year was
world.
Pearl Harbor?
Guys,
I'm making a dumb thing. What I was just there. What year was Pearl Harbor?
Uh, 40
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so whatever year it
41,
was.
41.
Yeah, I thought it was
Sounds
41. Okay.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So anyways, we should ask AI. Anyways,
Find it.
and he
yeah,
did this whole thing, and it was like his whole concept and his whole point in this AI video was people ignored these warning signs. Like, if you guys know the story of Pearl Harbor, like over and over, people were like, "Oh, there's this fleet coming in." They thought, "Oh, it was just these guys coming back. We were expecting them, but it looked like it was a little early, and we saw them radar. Must have been them." But here's one thing that I noticed in the video. He was like, okay, he's standing there like in Pearl Harbor. And he's like, they're about to come. And he almost looks excited. And that's not how Russell would actually act in this. He would be somber about this and he would tell the story a little bit different. But in that video, it almost seemed a little weird, like there was an excitement. And that wouldn't have been Russell, because I know Russell, and like it may have been more effective of like, this is a crazy tragedy, but I don't know that AI caught that emotion. The point still got across. It was a really cool video. The point
yeah,
was still got across that like, hey, don't ignore these warning signs. Like, people didn't pay attention and therefore they lost at great cost. But I noticed that Jen and I were watching it and I was like, oh, that doesn't seem like Russell.
The
And that emotion seems a little bit off in this moment for what's about to happen. And it'll probably get better. But I think what you're saying, Andrew, is crazy. Like, it probably will calculate exactly what it should do based on probabilities. But once again, we're not there yet. It can do a lot of cool things, but it is scary where it could be. Our lives will be considerably different in 10 years.
Well, and I think to your point, even though it detects it, I don't think it can deliver it. So I do think that still is a human, like not a AI generated human, like a real human, that
Yeah,
is either
Pre-recorded, but a human.
right, either
Yeah.
through yeah, exactly, but it's a real human actually doing it. Yeah,
totally.
it's exactly that,
We
yeah.
were just on another like mastermind type call yesterday, and one of the members was presenting like a AI tool that can call your leads for you and or onboard. It was like an onboarding, like
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
them some initial questions, and well, it's a work in progress. He's getting feedback on it. The AI voice, like a lot of like my feedback on it was like, it feels like it's trying too hard to be human. And, the things that you were saying, Chris, of like the emotion was off. And it's like, someone had just, because one of the questions is like,
Was
what's
it
the
was it a
biggest
video
struggle you're
too,
having
Susan?
in your business right now? And then he'd answer, and then it would like be a little too excited, a little too cheerful of a voice because it's trying
Was
to
it
be
video
human.
too?
Just text.
What? I'm
It
sorry, what?
wasn't video at all?
No, just
Just text.
voice, just voice.
Okay.
Um,
It might even be worse with video too, because
it
facial
could
expressions,
be
right?
worse with
Not only
video.
emotion, right? But facial
Yeah.
expressions. That's what I was known with the Russell thing too. It's like, yeah, he wouldn't
Yeah,
be smiling at this.
Yeah, yeah.
right.
So it
Yeah,
just was it
yeah.
it felt weird, it felt off, and I think that's kind of one of the things that Andrea and I are doing right now. We're trying, because we know, like, we even on Monday we're having a meeting with our team of like what, probably something that Russell did with you guys months ago, right? It was like, we got to get AI and more. Like, how do we put AI into everything? How do we like what? And so one of the things
Yeah.
that we're working on is
Everybody's having that meeting.
right, but um
Yeah.
what are the boundaries though that we want to set? And it sounds like Russell did that same thing, and it's really awesome to hear that from you. Where he has some like, this is what, like a line, like a little bit of a line being drawn. And it is like, if you're so one of the feedback that we gave, Andrea did an awesome gave some awesome advice to this guy yesterday. It's like, if like, tell people that's AI. Like, don't try to pass it off as not AI. Just tell people it's AI, and they're actually going to be more willing to accept it. And Andrew, you should talk about the thing that about how people are actually more willing to share with AI than humans sometimes.
Oh, yeah, especially if you put it in, like, a one down position. So, it's because it's the way so this actually beckons back to, So I did a lot of work in prior years with automation. How do you get humans to trust automation? And we're talking about like farmers who are like super mechanically oriented and hate all of like automation, right? So it's like, how do you get somebody like that to trust automation? And so one of the ways was basically it's like, don't make automation present like human, don't make it seem like it's equivalent, put it into a one less position of like, treat me like a child almost, right? Like I'm still learning and I would really appreciate course correction. So immediately it puts the person in a position of more power and more tolerance for when it does mess up. And so then it's like you get that back and forth instead of when you try to position it as the same or a human, the second it messes up, the trust factor not just decreases, like your brain literally thinks that you're in danger and you're going to get murdered and it runs the other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a threat.
And
Yeah.
I do think that this is an avatar question. Knowing exactly who your audience is and what they need and what they want, because generationally, it's very, very different. My mom, who's 85, is going to react differently to AI, and she may think that it's real. I don't know, right? Or maybe that farmer's like, so you just got to pull your audience and see what they're liking or try different things. That's the best thing I love about funnel hacking is we're AI hacking all over the place. Like,
Yeah.
what has worked before? Let's go try this. But Bill Allen says this. He's our CEO of Prime Mover. He just simplifies like the scientific method into 3 things. And it's just like hypothesize, test, pivot. And a lot of times we say, okay, well, I'm going to hypothesize that all these other, whether it's voice commands or anything else, and I'm just talking to marketers or I'm talking to people who are trying to sell something. If they're going to have AI integrated, make sure that the experience that they have is going to be at the level that they want, to your point, Andrea. But if it's not, we're testing that and make sure that we can see what that is and then iterate and make feedback. But, in 20 years, when generation alpha is running things, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's 30 years or whatever it is. Maybe it's indistinguishable. I don't know.
That's the
Yeah.
crazy
But
thing.
right
I don't
now,
know.
you're nailing it. Like, figure out how this then affects your audience and your avatar. How do they want to be spoken to?
Totally. Yeah.
If it's an AI product, of course, I'll give you an example. We're going to do AI. We're going to do, this is actually funny you bring it up. We're going to do this for the AI Secrets Challenge, right? That's coming up. An AI bot will call you and it's literally going to say, hey, listen, I'm Russell's AI, blah, blah, blah. You're going to an AI challenge. Of course you want AI to call you. If it was a human calling you, it would fill off.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think the key thing is that it's disclosing that it's Russell's AI assistant, right? It's not like, hey, this is Tony from the ClickFunnels office, or the Prime Mover office, and if we have some questions, it's being disclosed. So I think it's more willing because we can tell, like as good as it is, most of us, especially in the entrepreneur space, like we can tell, like we can hear the voice as AI still, and the way that it's responding. And so it's like,
or
just tell me,
pauses
like, just
and weird
be
spots.
truthful that it's AI, and then we're willing to sit through it.
Right.
Yeah.
So true.
And may even give it more grace. Like,
Yeah.
okay, here we go. It's AI, and this may
Yes.
take a little bit. I'll be patient. And
Exactly. True. Yeah,
instead
exactly.
of yelling at somebody who's in the Philippines or something that,
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Chris, we want to make sure we honor your time. We have just 2 last little things. One question that we love every guest that comes on the show, and that is just in your day to day, how do you stay human? How do you stay connected to the human condition?
Well, okay, that starts, I think, with being connected to, in my case, is obviously God. I think it starts there because, listen, I'm Christian, and there was 2 great commandments, and one was love God, and the other is love your neighbor. And if we can do those 2 things, we are all going to win. It's that simple. So that's what I try to do. Just try to love God and love the neighbor. And I've gotten better at this as I've gotten older, like try to be patient and meet people in a way that they would want to be. Golden rule is everything. And sometimes I'm not. Where I'm probably the worst is like when nobody can see or hear me and I'm on the road and somebody does something stupid and, in my own brain or in my own car, having my own Tourette's party. But hopefully, whether it's in just passing at the grocery store or, with you two that we have connection and history, hopefully that, you're treating somebody the same. And so, I just try to do that. That's a simple thing. Maybe it's 3 rules: love God, love your neighbor, and follow the golden rule.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Chris. Okay, so if it's somebody wanted to just crawl inside your world more, get to know you more, get to know everything in
Yeah.
your world more, where do they go? Where do they find you? Where
I
can they
am
go?
I am notoriously terrible at marketing myself at all. And I'll tell you, this is why I work with Russell, is because it fills my bucket where I can have the conversations and do things, but I don't have to go and pimp myself out online, so to speak. Like I don't have to be out there and be doing all the things. So listen, I mean, I'm on Facebook. You can find me. Doesn't mean you're going to see a lot of posts or Instagram or anything like that. Where you can work with me, which is really,
Yeah.
really fun, is get in touch with Prime Mover. Like go to this AI challenge that's coming up or go to sellingonline.com. We've got a cool little video that you can watch there and see how we do things. And then the back end is me and my team. And that's what I love. I just love, like, I was telling you guys before we hit record, I've known Russell for 26 years now. He and I were roommates in New Jersey in the year 2000 on a church mission. And we've just been in orbit with each other forever and started working with him full time in 2018. And it's been just so much fun. So I love just fulfilling on the back end of this. I've done everything from partnerships with him to, speaking team and doing transaction stuff with him to now running all the coaching. So, and this has been, it's so fulfilling to me. So come through that front door, come through that front door. Like, if somebody came in through the back window and was like, hey, you'd be like, what is going on here? But they come through your front door and do it the right way. Like I always sell that with Russell when I was doing partnerships. They'd be like, how do I partner with Russell? I'm like, well, you join his coaching programs.
Just
Like you
join
come in the
up.
front door. So
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, come in the front door with, I'd love to work with you and, using Russell's stuff and meet you that way.
And we can both firsthand attest that it has changed our lives for the better. So we can't,
You
we
two are
highly
awesome.
endorse it. Yeah. Yeah.
You
I'll
two
add
are
one
awesome.
more.
Looking forward to
ClickFunnels
hugs.
Radio. You can find you on ClickFunnels Radio.
Oh,
Listen to you
that's
listen to
very
you all
true,
the time there.
Susan. Yeah, every week, myself and Dante, and let me just talk about this for 1
Sure.
second. I know we're out of
You're
time.
good.
Is this is a passion project and it's a Dave Woodward project. And everybody knows, likes, and loves Dave. And Dave passed, I don't know how long ago it was, 4 years, something like that, maybe now. It's crazy. I don't even remember. Yeah,
3
3.5,
maybe.
4 years ago. Anyways, my timing could be all messed up on that, but I worked with him forever, and I was a guest on the show a few times, and I remember we had a conversation before he passed, and I was working directly under him, and he says, "What do you want to do with the podcast?" And I was like, "Dave, we're not having this conversation yet. Just keep doing what you're doing." And then after he passed, it was about 6 months, and then we relaunched, me and Laura Demetrius, and then we've had a couple other co-hosts since, and now it's Dante. But it's a passion project. We're over 800 episodes in, and it's so much fun. We've up leveled our production value and everything else, and it's a blast. So yeah, come see us on ClickFunnels Radio. Um, we're doing a lot of fun stuff over there. Andrea's been on the show. It's a lot of
It's
fun.
amazing. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Chris. We so appreciate you.
thanks for being here. And with that, everyone listening, if you liked this episode, like it, share it, subscribe, share it with your friends, connect with Chris in all the ways. We'll put all those links to all the relevant things down in the show notes. And as always, stay human and stay connected. We'll see you next time.